Porsche is the only brand in the world where the cheapest car they sell starts at $63,000. $63,000. That's what Porsche charges you just to walk through the door. And there's still a waiting list. People still buy them without ever having driven one. Dudes out here with 3 Porsches in the garage and still pulling up the configurator online at 2 in the morning. What is going on? What does this brand know that everyone else doesn't? Today I'm breaking down the 7 levels of Porsche so you know exactly what you're buying at each step. And if you think this is just for millionaires, wait until we get to level 5. Let's go. Level 1, the entry point, the Macan. The Macan is the best-selling Porsche in the world. Not the 911, not the Cayenne. The Macan, a 5-door compact SUV that starts at $63,000. And Porsche knows exactly what they're doing with this car. This is the bait. This is the drive one, and you'll never go back to a normal car play. Turbocharged 4-cylinder, 261 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 6 seconds on the base model. Sounds like a lot for an entry SUV? Because it is. The Macan S jumps to 375 horsepower and drops the time to 4.6 seconds. And the Macan GTS hits 440 horsepower. This isn't a luxury SUV with sports car pretensions. It's a sports car they slapped 5 doors on because people need to carry stuff. Here's the thing nobody tells you at the dealership, though. The gas Macan, the one starting at $63,000, is basically the same car that's existed for over a decade with some updates. The platform is 10+ years old. Porsche knows it. You'll find out after you buy it. Meanwhile, the electric Macan is already here, starts at $78,000, and it's a completely different animal built from the ground up on the PPE platform it shares with the Audi Q6 e-tron. Who's the Macan buyer? The person who wants that golden P on the steering wheel and is willing to pay for it, and it works. Because the Macan, even the gas one with the older platform, still drives better than 90% of the SUVs on the market. Porsche doesn't make bad cars. They make expensive ones. Big difference. Quick heads up though, if you're thinking about a Macan, run the math before you sign. That $63,000 car comes with Porsche insurance, Porsche maintenance, and Porsche parts. The real first-year cost will hit different from the sticker price. Level 2, the SUV that pays the bills, the Cayenne. If the Macan is the bait, the Cayenne is the net. This car has been keeping Porsche's balance sheet healthy since 2002. When Porsche dropped the Cayenne, the purists lost their minds. An SUV, they're selling their soul. And Porsche basically responded, this SUV is how we keep making the 911. You're welcome. The base Cayenne starts around $77,000. Twin-turbo V6, 348 horsepower. The Cayenne S goes up to 474 horsepower with the V8. And if you're going Cayenne Turbo GT, you're looking at 729 horsepower in an SUV that weighs over 2 tons. 2 tons with 729 horsepower. This thing does 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds. That's faster than a 2010 Porsche 911 Carrera base. In a 7-seat SUV, there's something deeply disturbing and beautiful about that at the same time. The Cayenne is also going electric in 2026. The Cayenne Electric is set to be the fastest electric SUV in the brand's history. Porsche is betting big on the future without letting go of the past, which is exactly why they're still Porsche. The Cayenne buyer, the guy with 2 kids, a Labrador, a ski trip every winter, and who still hasn't accepted that he's not the same dude who drove a sports car at 28. The Cayenne lets him hold on to that feeling, and it's not a cheap illusion. It's a very well-executed one. Level 3. The sedan that shouldn't exist, the Panamera. The Panamera is the most misunderstood car in Porsche's history. When it came out in 2009, the forums went nuclear. Ugly, an abomination. Porsche has lost the plot. 16 years later, the Panamera is still here, and those forum guys are driving Korean SUVs. The Panamera is a 4-door sedan with the soul of a sports car. Starts around $92,000 in base form. The Panamera 4S e-Hybrid lands around $120,000. And the Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid, the most extreme version, pumps out 771 combined horsepower from the V8 and electric motors. A 4-door sedan. 771 horsepower. That's a 2005 Bugatti Veyron with a trunk and rear seat air conditioning. What makes the Panamera special isn't the horsepower. It's that you genuinely can't tell if you're driving a sports car disguised as a sedan or a sedan disguised as a sports car. Both things are true at the same time. The rear seats have more room than a Mercedes S-Class, and that same car does 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. That duality is the Panamera's whole lane, and nothing else occupies it the same way. The Panamera buyer is the exec who has board meetings in the morning and wants to arrive feeling something, not just arriving, and that person is willing to pay for it. Level 4. The car that defined a category. The 911 Carrera. This is where Porsche stops being a car company and becomes a religion. The 911 has existed since 1963. Over 60 years with the same concept. Rear engine, rear-wheel drive, coupe body, 2 usable seats. Everyone in the industry said it was a bad idea. Rear engine makes the car unstable. Basic physics says so. Porsche basically answered with 6 decades of engineering. Physics works for us. The 911 Carrera base starts at $120,000 today. 388 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds per Edmunds real-world testing. Not on Porsche's paper. It's a flat 6 cylinders and a boxer layout. The same engine concept they've been using since the 60s, now with a turbo and 2025 technology. But the number you need to know about the 911 isn't the sticker price. It's the resale value. The 911 has one of the lowest depreciation rates of any production car out there. Buy a new 911 Carrera today, and in 5 years, you've lost way less of its value than any comparable BMW M or Mercedes AMG. Some 911 versions have actually gone up in value. A 911 isn't just a car. It's a way to park money that also lets you do 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. The archetype? The guy who's bought 3 cars from other brands chasing that feeling and finally understands there's only one place to find it. Level 5? The 911 Porsche didn't want you to know about. The Carrera T and the GTS. Okay, here's the information Porsche's marketing department will never tell you at the dealership. Because if everyone knew, nobody would buy the more expensive models. The 911 Carrera T. This car starts a few thousand above the base Carrera. 6-speed manual as standard. Sport suspension lowered. Less sound insulation so you can actually hear the engine. Rear seats deleted from the factory. Porsche charges you less money and gives you more car. It's the 911 the Porsche engineers would pick if they could choose. No filler, no unnecessary comfort padding. Just the car and the road. And then there's the GTS. And we need to talk about something big here. The 2025 911 GT is the first hybrid 911 in history. Porsche took the 3.6-liter flat 6, combined it with an electric motor integrated into the turbocharger, and the result is 532 horsepower. It's faster to 60 than the GT3, a GTS faster than the GT3. The engineering balance that implies is almost offensive to anyone who bought a GT3 last year. The GTS starts around $175,000. It's probably the best 911 Porsche has ever made for daily street driving. Not the most extreme, the best. There's a massive difference. If anyone tells you the base 911 is enough, they're right. If anyone tells you the GTS is too much, they haven't driven one. Level 6. The track car with license plates. The GT3 and GT3 RS. Now we're in a different territory entirely. The 911 GT3 has a 4.0-liter, naturally aspirated engine, no turbo, that revs to 9,000 revolutions per minute. 9,000 revolutions per minute, bro. Formula One cars used to hit 18,000 in the 90s. A Porsche street car hits 9,000 today. The sound that engine makes at full chat has no equivalent in production. Nothing. Zero comparison. The GT3 starts around $170,000. The GT3 RS, with its active aerodynamics and the drag reduction system straight from race cars, is over $241,000 MSRP. On the street, at dealerships, GT3 RS cars sell well above sticker. Waiting lists. Dudes paying $50,000 over MSRP just to get one earlier. The GT3 RS has an active rear wing, carbon doors, carbon roof, carbon hood. It weighs 3,197 pounds despite everything on it. And it laps the Nürburgring faster than any other production 911 except the GT2. A car with license plates, with heat, with a radio, faster around the ring than most race cars from 20 years ago. The GT3 RS buyer is not the same person as the Cayenne Turbo buyer. This isn't a commuter car. This is a car you buy to go to the track on weekends and feel something the rest of the week won't give you anywhere else. Worth mentioning, Porsche also has the 718 at this level, the Cayman and Boxster. Mid-engine, more balanced by design than the 911. Engineering purists argue the 718 GT4 RS is the purest car Porsche makes. The problem? It doesn't wear the 911 badge, and in the Porsche world, that matters more than it should. Level 7. The Endgame. The 918 Spyder and what comes next. The 918 Spyder is no longer in production. Only 918 units were ever made, hence the name, between 2013 and 2015. Original price, $845,000. Current market price between $1.5 and $2.5 million, depending on condition and options. A car that cost $845,000 new is now worth 2 to 3 times that. That's not a car. That's an investment fund with a steering wheel. The 918 had a naturally aspirated 4.6-liter V8 plus 2 electric motors, 887 combined horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds in 2013. In 2013, bro, when the iPhone 5S was the hottest thing out, this car was doing 2.6 seconds over a decade ago. And then there's what's coming. Porsche announced the Mission X, a concept that, if it ever reaches production, promises to do 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. Under 2 seconds. To put that in context, the G-force you'd feel in that acceleration starts approaching what fighter pilots experience on takeoff in a street car with license plates, built by the same company that makes the SUV you take to the grocery store. That's Porsche, a brand that can sell you the same crest on a $63,000 vehicle and a $2 million one, and has the engineering to justify both prices. So there you have it, the 7 levels of Porsche, from the Macan, the SUV that pays the bills, all the way to the 918 Spyder, the object that appreciates in value while you drive it. Through the 911, the car that spent 60 years proving that a fundamentally flawed engineering concept, executed with obsessive precision, can become the benchmark for an entire industry. Porsche isn't the most rational brand. It's not the most practical. It doesn't give you the most car for the money in most cases. But no other brand in the world makes their buyers feel what Porsche makes their buyers feel. And that, bro, has a price. If this video opened your eyes to what you're actually buying when you see that golden P, smash like. Subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next one.